Commence primary ignition.
Hey, this is Katie O'Brien, and you're watching the Virtual Cantina Network.
I didn't know that we had a Katie O'Brien bumper.
She is boss, man. I love it. Thank you, Katie.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, hang on. That really got me. I was like, that's Katie O'Brien.
I really
She
wish
has
you were with
incredible
us.
arms.
She's like Jax. I love her so much. She's so nice. I really wish you were there to meet her with us in Rhode Island.
That was wow. Okay, I just need to recover from that for a second. I have an irrational crush on that woman, so that definitely caught me by surprise.
She's so cool. Yeah. Well, Jamie recovers. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Daughters of the Galaxy. We're back.
We're back again.
Oh my God, we're back again.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. I was like, it's been a minute, and I think the holidays kind of got the best of us, and you know, like life happened. So thank you for watching reruns for the last two shows. Not the plan.
But they've been good reruns. You know, it's Ahsoka and Leia. You can't go wrong with either of those.
It's true. And celebrating, like, you know, Leia with Carrie's, you know, Memorial Day was important. So I'm glad
that was really good.
Out.
That was a good call.
Yeah. So
I can't
we're back.
It's been that long. Yeah.
I know. It's weird. And it's such a weird thing because, like, I think about that day because I was working at Hollywood Studios when that happened. And we were, you know, working the Great Movie Ride where Carrie Fisher did appear in like some of the, you know, like the clips and everything on the attraction, and like having guests walk up to us with like bouquets of flowers, and we're like, what do we even do with these? Like memorial flowers for Carrie Fisher. So we just put them out front of the Chinese Theater at Hollywood Studios. And then when her mom died, you know, right after her, we had the same situation. It was just what a strange and awful time that was.
Yeah. Oof. They loved each other, and it's just, you know, I think Todd Fisher said that Debbie Reynolds died of a broken heart.
Oh,
her and Carrie were like,
yeah, absolutely, she did. That's a whole thing. But yeah, running Leia's show on that day was the right choice. But now we're here.
Yeah,
back.
Oh, such a good feeling.
It's Star Wars. I know.
It's been a pretty busy last couple days with these Star Wars announcements coming up this year.
Literally,
yeah. They're like, oh, new year, new news. Here we go. Drop it on your
lap. Back to back to back to back. It's weird.
So
like,
not only
is there an apocalypse happening that we're worried about? Sorry, keep going.
No. They're just getting us hyped. They're like, oh, new year. Here we go. Get hyped. This is what's coming. So, excuse me. We have season 2 of Ahsoka in the works. Dave Filoni is working on that, teasing sketches of the father's hand and Sabine and Ahsoka standing on it. So I'm looking forward to see where that goes. Also, Mando movie begins filming this year. Like, check that out.
Listen, I read an article. Just, you know, because all these articles are coming fast and furious, and like there are so many, you know, like fact checking the sites that you're getting all of your info from and everything is obviously so important. But I saw one news article that announced it as The Mandalorian and Grogu, and I thought that was the title of the movie. And I'm like, can that actually just be the title of the movie? Like, can we give Grogu top billing?
Grogu and The Mandalorian.
Honestly, like, give that little green bean his top billing. He deserves it.
Yeah. Oh, man. I'm excited. Although I hate to admit it, I would rather see Jon Favreau direct than write. His writing is kind of stale, in my humble opinion. These aren't the views of the network.
We need. I feel like for this show especially, we need that bumper underneath
Yeah. Oh
everything.
yeah. Completely.
Our views do not represent the VCN
Or Star Wars in general.
or Star Wars. Don't sue us.
But I feel like it. He's obviously proven himself to be a great director. Like I love the Iron Man movies. He's done a bunch of other movies that have been really solid, and I just Grogu and Friends. Exactly, John. That's what we want.
Please.
The search for more nuggies. Grogu, the search for more nuggies.
I think the real important question about this movie is, will Lizzo and Jack Black be making an appearance?
Please.
Please not. I don't know about that. Oh,
I love Lizzo, so it would be.
Listen, I love Lizzo. I had a lot of questions about that episode, though. Anyway.
Yeah. More killer, less filler. That's what I want to see.
More killer, less filler. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah. So, okay. So, oh my gosh, like even running through as I was like checking my notes before we had our show today. So yeah. So Ahsoka season 2, Mandalorian film, um, uh, the Acolyte, of course, which is like my brain just thinking about this is, as Michael Scott would say, running a mile a minute, which is about all I could handle. But the Acolyte and all the things that are happening there. And then, of course, we have the one that everybody kind of seems to be forgetting about with those kids and Jude Law in his Star Wars debut.
Ugh. Skeleton
There
Crew.
it is.
It exists.
Yeah.
Those children are there. It's not made up.
Okay, so this is the one that I feel like we know the absolute least about, but I feel like around Celebration time, they had sort of teased it as almost like one of those, like, sort of the vibe of like the campy 80s like family movies, and like in the style of like an ET, or one of
Yeah.
the like the dynamic
They
with the
had
kids
the
is supposed to be very
niche.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like we don't know anything about it, and I feel like I want to know more about it, but also am really relishing the fact that like this is a Star War that we know nothing about.
Yeah.
And that's
And
kind of a
Star Wars
nice
Stranger
thing.
Things. Absolutely, Dave. That's exactly it. But you know what? It's exciting because I feel like that's something that's kind of been missing in Star Wars. Something that kind of grounds it in like it's happened in Andor, but kind of grounds it for the common folk that maybe don't have access to um, the Force as easily as some other people.
Yeah.
So
So I'm also kind of hoping it's like, so yes, like what you said in universe, but also I hope it's also almost like another entry point for people to come into Star Wars. I think especially with the Skeleton Crew, if it aims a little bit younger, like if it goes for that target audience of like what Stranger Things, I guess, kind of has become,
yeah,
that fills it kind of in a lot of ways feels like a target audience gap for Star Wars. So Star Wars for Normies.
yeah,
More like Star
yep,
Wars for those of us that haven't been entrenched in it for the last like 50 years. Because, one of the biggest complaints that I hear whenever I talk to people about Star Wars, any of like my non-Star Wars friends, is that like so yeah, I saw the original movies, and like I saw the prequels, and I saw the sequels, but like I didn't really know what was going on. And Star Wars, I think, has kind of made itself in a lot of ways very unapproachable, because you have to know so much about so many timelines in order for a lot of those beats to like hit.
hmm
And so I feel like if there's an in for people to not have to know 50 years worth of lore, that
oh
could be a
yeah.
really good thing for this franchise. So
And also, as Freddie Prinze Jr. famously said, Star Wars is for the kids. And
it sure
what
is.
better grounding point and starting point than literal kids? Make
Literal
it,
children.
have it accessible to them, have it something have it be something that they can absorb and something that's their own. Like the OT was their parents when they were a kid. The prequel trilogy was, you know, you know, I guess OT's grandparents, prequel
The,
trilogy's parents,
the
and then
prequel
now,
trilogy, yeah, because so that's actually almost exactly it, because the prequel trilogy, I mean, you and I are close enough in age that I was in I mean, I was in my almost a teenager when those movies came out,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I mean, now I'm a parent and have a child who is obsessed with Young Jedi Adventures, and that for her is going to be her in, which is such a strange thing because like even watching it today, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, my kid's first experience with Star Wars is going to have nothing to do with Luke Skywalker or any of the
Yeah.
Skywalkers,
Yeah.
and I think that that's a stupendous thing. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I am actually I'm finding myself in this very strange time, and I promise this is all going to tie back to our, the things that we're most excited for. But I'm actually finding myself in this strange timeline where I've gotten so frustrated with the Mandoverse and so frustrated with a lot of the current projects and so exhausted by, the timeline that we seem to be really stuck in that I've actually gone back to my roots. So like I'm back in like the EU Luke Skywalker stuff, and I'm finding that I
Yeah.
like really, really desperately love the EU Luke Skywalker, and I get so frustrated with the current state of Luke Skywalker. So I don't know, but it's an interesting thing to see that Sabine's first experience with Star Wars, and her hook for Star Wars is going to be something that has nothing to do with Luke or Leia or R2 or 3PO, but Yoda, who she still calls that guy, which I think is really funny.
Oh my god, I love
That
her.
guy.
That
Yeah,
guy.
so she knows his name, but she prefers that guy, which
Oh yeah.
frankly I think is great.
Pave your own path, youngling. We got you. We know who you're talking about. No, I honestly, this is what I love about Star Wars now. There are so many jumping on points for so many different people. Like you could like the reading, you could like the OT, you could like the prequels. Like there's so many different new points. You could like Ahsoka, you could like the animated stuff and not be interested in anything else. There's so many different areas that people can attach to.
Mm.
And maybe someday just Sabine will find her way into the OT and
Not
pick
worried
up a
about that.
book. But again, it's not like a
She will.
necessity,
Yeah.
but it's something that's like, okay, well, this is a whole wide sandbox for everybody to play in. Everybody can see different areas. So
It is, and it's my goal and my hope before we really jump into like some of these shows and the things about these shows that we're the most excited about is that we continue to play in the sandbox, but we have that meaningful play where like we get our entire stories and we get our conclusive timelines and we get meaningful character arcs that aren't sort of thrown to the wind and forgotten about or never revisited because a project goes off the rails or because a project gets shelved or whatever it is. So again, I totally agree with you, right? Like I think it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. There are lots of different ways to engage with the franchise. But I just don't want to see a situation where something gets sidelined or something gets scrapped and we never get like that meaningful conclusion or resolution to a story or to a character or whatever it may be. So one of the things that I know Bob Iger was really talking about with Lucasfilm and with Marvel too, was cutting back on certain projects and really honing in on the ones that are the most important, and whether most important means for the story or financially, who knows.
Yes.
But
I'm gonna say yes. Yes,
but
to
I
both
think
of those.
yes to both of those. But I think that might not necessarily be such a bad thing right
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. I think trimming the tree a little bit and just getting a healthy growth, and it's so easy to just use the popularity of a franchise and just throw ideas at things and see if they stick. But
Mhm.
it's another thing to just kind of hone it in and make sure that it's all right, what's already working? What do we want to
Mhm.
see more of? What's our popular demographic? And it's just allows them to streamline everything. And then if that's successful, who's to say the other projects can't pick up in the future?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think, the biggest, of course I'm gonna say this, but I think the biggest example of success with that right now has been the High Republic. Because the
absolutely.
High Republic, in a lot of ways was kind of a gamble. It was kind of a crapshoot, and I think seeing it have the story is coming to an end this year. as we know it, but seeing the other tie-ins like Young Jedi Adventures and seeing the tie-ins like The Acolyte coming through, and even partnerships in the parks, like I was shocked, absolutely shocked. You know, you all saw me freak out over my Stellan Geos lightsaber,
Yeah.
which it's literally sitting next to me. I'm caressing the box as we speak. But seeing the Stellan Geos lightsaber come into the parks. But then also just yesterday, I saw that Disneyland is getting a dessert theme to the Vincians, which is who Geode is, and that was introduced in the High Republic. And they, what was the other big thing I saw for the High Republic that they were getting? It was just like little nods here and there. So seeing that start to really get its feet under it and starting to run into more of the quote mainstream Star Wars, away from the books necessarily, and like into what I think more people engage with, which is the visual media, is really exciting. So yeah, lots and lots and lots of things all happening at one time in
Yeah.
Star Wars.
I
That keep
honestly, like, this year, like, having them realize that, okay, well, the publishing gamble is paying off. There are
Mhm.
people that really love this character. Let's try this and see if it works. And then it just being a huge success. Um, Lots of people thinking it's such a cool lightsaber, and them putting Stellan in the parks. Like,
Mhm.
honestly, who saw that coming? Like, as soon as it
Uh,
was announced, I
I
was
was so unwell.
like, "Yay!"
I was so
Yeah.
unwell, and then the way I ran like a crazy person with my child in the stroller to get to Doc's to buy the first one.
In the
I
rain, you
There it
did it, girl.
is.
Look at it, it's beauteous.
Listen,
Oh,
he's sitting right next to me. I don't know why I'm not just playing with it.
shoo, shoo.
Literally my emotional support lightsaber right now. All right, so let's talk about some of this. So, Ashley, what project are you? I'm like undoing this massive
No, it's
box
fine.
right now as I'm
It
talking.
is
Uh,
ginormous.
so I guess before we go into the titles, because I was thinking about this too, because like, listen, you go to a lot of shows. I know you go to a lot of shows both as an attendee and as a artist. Do you feel like show season started really early this year,
Yeah.
or is that just me?
No, I totally agree. I really think that people are just, like, kicking things off as soon as possible. Like, well, the
MegaCon.
holidays are over, let's do this. And, it's a
So I say
little
it only because like MegaCon is happening like in 2 weeks, and I'm just like, I just
oh, so pretty.
it's fine. I'm just gonna emotionally cradle it
You can hold
like my
that the
child.
entire show,
I
and I will
am. I'm
not
going
follow
to.
you.
Um,
No, I really was shocked that they moved it. I mean, it's kind of a good thing because we all know how busy Florida is during the summer. But honestly, the amount of celebrities, the amount of Star Wars guests, yes, Dave, the amount of artists, like their artist alley and their pro table section for MegaCon is going to be ginormous.
mhm.
There's so many top-notch artists there. I have friends who got in for the first time ever, so it's exciting. But it's February, and I just feel like
It's
usually
stupid. It's so early.
usually the cons didn't start until like I want to say C2E2 in the past few years has been like the end of February, the beginning of March, and well, it's just starting sooner and sooner, and it's a little mind blowing.
So I say that because like I wonder, right? Like if so many people that like we engage with are so excited, obviously, because of the guests that are coming to these shows and because of the things that are happening. But like I also wonder if with all the announcements that they're making and getting ahead of some of these shows starting, if they weren't trying to like, hey, let's announce Ahsoka now. Hey, let's announce the Mando movie now, if they're trying to get ahead of the convention season. Because I think a lot
Absolutely,
of people are,
yeah,
for 2024 really hyped about that, and in a lot of ways I actually think that's kind of smart because um the writer's strike had such, and the Screen Actors Guild strike had such a huge impact on
yeah,
the schedule for a lot of the releases of these things, and the marketing and the promotion that they couldn't do. So I wonder if this is almost like a smart move on the side of the conventions and getting some of these guests in to try to almost like make up for that and to like
absolutely,
have
yeah.
more time.
Yeah, it not
So
only gets the word out about their projects, gets everybody excited, it also gets them to meet with the fans for the projects that they've already done and the things that they couldn't talk about for so long.
right.
It gets them to connect with more people, and I know obviously being in Disney World essentially, um, and being at MegaCon, it just kind of helps build the buzz and especially like the announcement of Ahsoka season 2. Like you're gonna have people that are gonna run up to Amon and um I forget who else is going. I'm sorry. I know. Oh,
I
Diana. Even though
Yeah, I know
she's
she's going.
yeah. So there's a lot of people that are pretty hyped about that, and maybe are just discovering Ahsoka for the first time and just getting to see these actors and these characters. So it gets them excited, and yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right.
It's smart, and I think it's a good way to, from a marketing standpoint, it's a good way to continue to build buzz about all the things that are,
Absolutely.
happening. I will not be going to the show. It's a little too chaotic for me personally.
Yeah.
And it's killing me because, everybody gets so hyped over autographs and celebrities and things like that. The one person I would like, I'm still like, "Ooh, maybe if I go on Thursday, it won't be so bad," is Charles Soule, who is one of the
I
architects of the High
know.
Republic, is going. And I'm like, I could have this man, like, sign stuff for me, and it wouldn't cost me $6,000 like it costs people to go see Ewan McGregor and Hayden
Absolutely,
Christensen.
and
Not
having like
$6,000, but still.
Charles doesn't do too many cons, so it,
Yeah, he's listen, okay, so I have this beautiful piece of artwork. It's a Jake Bartok piece. Jake Bartok? I think it is a Jake
yes,
Bartok piece.
I
I
love
can't
him.
remember. Yeah. I want to say it's him, and it's not accessible to me at this moment. But like he reimagined the covers of the first three adult books in phase one. And I'm like, oh man, if I could have it signed by like Charles Soule and Cavan Scott and Claudia Gray, that would be like the piece de resistance for me. But Cavan Scott's in the UK and Claudia Gray's not coming. So I'm like, I just think I'm gonna let him enjoy the show and I'll catch him another time. But yeah, anyway, all this to say, it's a great way to promote a lot of the things that are coming up. So what project should we start with? Which one are you most excited about for 2024? I feel like I already know the answer, but go ahead.
I'm really excited for the Acolyte.
No, what?
Yeah,
That's not what I thought you were gonna say.
yeah. Oh my god. Okay, so we always get shows and projects starting from the good guy point of view.
Okay.
We don't see the bad
Yes.
guys. We don't
Correct.
see the struggles that they face. And obviously, for obvious reasons, because good versus evil is more entertaining. But we're gonna have so many awesome actors involved in this project. Carrie Ann Moss, Amandla Stenberg, like amazing. I cannot think of the guy's name from from Squid Game, but yeah, it's it's gonna be
Wow.
like intense. I really feel like it's gonna be dark. It's gonna be gritty. It's gonna be intense. It's gonna be kind of like I want to say maybe for like mature viewers. I'm
Oh
hoping.
yeah, I think it's gonna get spicy. And like not
So
spicy like sexual, but spicy like violent. I think it's gonna be violent.
yeah.
Um,
So
which it should be.
I kind of want to see Star Wars be taken seriously and maybe a little dark. Like you know how it's like, oh, there's a little bit of like jokiness and there's whimsy and the light side and the dark
Yeah.
side, and nothing is ever like, oh shit, the stakes are high, shit is gonna get real here. Um, I feel like it should be like that. So they've got an amazing cast. They've have amazing people involved behind the scenes. Um, I'm excited for the different point of view.
Yeah. No,
So what did you
I
think I was gonna say? That's the thing.
well, okay, so I think maybe like in thinking back on it, I think maybe I phrased the question poorly because I think what I meant to say is like which announcement for 2024 are you most excited about?
Yeah,
So I thought for sure you were going to lean into Ahsoka because like I know that that's important to you.
yeah. Oh,
Listen,
there's a
like I
sketch.
literally saw this Filoni sketch and I thought to myself, Ashley's probably having a nervous breakdown right now.
Oh, I was. As soon as I saw that little scribble in the corner, I'm like, Dave,
Mhm.
like the concept art is killing me.
Mhm.
But I had to like zoom in because I thought it was, Shin confronting Balin on top of that, and then I like zoomed in on my phone, and I'm like, oh, that's Ahsoka and Sabine.
Yeah, it's Ahsoka and Sabine because
What's
they're stuck.
happening? The horns gave it away.
Yeah, they're just vibing. They're stuck out there. So
Like, what are we looking
Yeah.
at? Where did Balin go? Like, I have so many questions from that one little tease. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool. And
And I
I
love
know.
Mortis. So you know, I didn't. I think I've talked about this on other shows. I refrained from any sort of commentary on Ahsoka while it was airing because of the strike, and that was my personal
Absolutely.
choice. Nobody held me to that. That was my personal choice. So I feel like now I can talk about it because everything is kind of resolved. Um, I think I've also made it clear I didn't care for Ahsoka. It wasn't for me, which is fine. But if there's one thing that I do love, it's the freaky force shit that goes on with Mortis. So the I'm getting that trademarked, like freaky force shit. It's literally I love it. But the Mortis arc was my favorite in
Yeah,
the Clone Wars.
mine
You know, the
too.
references to Mortis in Rebels, of course. Uh so that last final little moment where they were very clearly standing on the father's hand. Yeah, put that on a t-shirt, freaky force shit t-shirt.
Freaky force shit. S dot
um
dot dot.
yeah. It is my tagline. That and for light and life, y'all. Because now that I live in the South, I feel like the need to put y'all at the end of everything is probably offensive to native Southerners, but also something that I've just absolutely picked up since I moved to
It's
the South.
fine.
I don't,
It's
it's
fine.
not an offensive thing. It's just the way my brain works. But anyway, yeah, when I saw them standing or when I saw them pan across like the statue that was very clearly Mortis, I was like, oh, all right.
I was like, wait, where's
All
the
right.
daughter? Why isn't she on the cliff? Yeah. So I'm hoping there's answers about that too.
Yeah.
Um,
For
I
sure.
I think Dave will take it very.
No, there it is. That's a call out. I feel call out.
Yeah.
Listen,
Put it in like Arabesh, like Star Warsy
freaky
handwriting, and
for
you're
shit,
good.
y'all.
Freaky force shit, y'all.
It's yeah. I'm gonna call up Tiff and be like, "Hey, I need you to make me a T-shirt real quick."
Yeah. Make a
I
onesie
almost,
for Sabine
yeah, I
or a
almost
t-shirt.
wore my Elzar Man did nothing wrong T-shirt tonight, and I was like, "It's 50 degrees and I'm freezing my ass off." Anyway, but yeah, no, I I I was not expecting that announcement today or
Mm,
yesterday or whatever day it was, but like I also kind of feel like I knew going back to what we were talking about earlier about like not wrapping up storylines and like leaving things hanging, like I knew that there was no way that they weren't gonna finish that story.
no. One way or
Obviously
another, Dave always finishes his stories.
the
Uh,
big question now is gonna be like, what are they gonna do with Balin? They have to obviously recast, which is gonna be um, hard. Hard to see because Ray Stevenson was my favorite part of that show.
yeah, he was
Um
incredible. And it was and like losing Carrie and also in this point in the Ahsoka-verse, losing Shauna Tripchick,
mhm,
the fantastic costume designer for The Mandalorian
mhm.
and for Ahsoka and for Book of Boba Fett. Um, she's gotten that's been one of my favorite things. The announcements in 2024 is her nomination for
Yes.
best costuming, her and her team. Completely well deserved. I really think she would be nominated even if um, things weren't as horrible as they are
Yeah.
with her passing. But just the skill level and the talent in every single one of these costumes, all the
I
thoughts
agree.
that go into it. So that was one of my favorite things to come about in the last few days as well. Um, but I really
Yeah.
think as far as Ray is concerned, I think they'll have to recast, but they're
Yeah.
not gonna do it and, "Oh, well, he just might look like this, and it'll be fine." Um,
No, and I think there are really thoughtful ways of doing it. I actually think the worst thing that they could do would be the deep fake shit that they did with
eh.
Mark.
Or with
Which
Carrie.
or with Carrie. I mean, yeah, it was across
At
the
least
board.
Mark
It's
was
just
still
never
alive to
works.
help with the deep fake stuff, but I felt like what they did with Carrie in Rise of Skywalker, I know was supposed to be Leia's story and kind of wrapping up her arc because
Yeah.
you had Han, Luke, and then Leia, and unfortunately it didn't work out that way. I really thought like just having Ray I was just gonna say that, Spencer. I was having Ray, someone who looks very similar but could
Mhm.
pull it off. I think Liev Schreiber would be great. He's a phenomenal actor. I just watched A Small Light on Nat Geo. It's about him playing Otto Frank,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
father of Anne Frank, and he was brilliant. So he has a
My
lot of power.
my hope will be, so that's what I want to see. So like my hope would be that, I as an audience member am far more willing to overlook a physical resemblance if I get a great actor. And I think with a character like Balin, um, who, you know, the gravity for Balin for me was that, sort of like what we were talking about earlier, it was that he was the unknown. Like, we didn't know anything really about him. We didn't really know whether his motives were good or bad. We didn't really know, is he in it with bringing back the empire? Or is he in it for himself? Like, there was just so much gray about Balin that it's a nuanced enough character that we really, really need a strong performer to continue that nuance. And I am totally willing to overlook somebody who doesn't look like Ray Stevenson if the skill set is there, if the acting chops are
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, Spencer. To be fair, the Oracle is a program. She can look like anybody. So when the original Oracle passed away after filming The Matrix, I think she was in The Matrix Reloaded. That's when she came back, and then she passed away, and they cast a new one for the third one. Um, she's a program. They can change how she looks. It's fine. It's not heartbreaking. Like it's already heartbreaking enough, but it didn't like crush me. I was like, oh, that's not the Oracle. I got it.
yeah, so
Semantics.
I'll be curious to see how it shakes out. I feel like
Yeah.
because it's on enough, like, now that this announcement's out there, now that we all know that we're getting season 2, this is obviously a big announcement for Lucasfilm. Um we I hope that they make some casting choices soon, and I hope that they don't let it get leaked by like a Hollywood Reporter or something like that. Like, I hope that they just come out and say, like, we want to honor Ray Stevenson, by continuing his character's
Yeah.
legacy, and here's who we've chosen to sort of pass the, pass
Pass the
the
torch.
the
Yeah.
torch to. Yeah, so we'll see. I would hope that we would get some information about that this year.
That would
We'll
be
see.
really cool. Yeah. And
Um,
honestly, I really hope that they space it out a bit more because there's so much going on in this season and
mhm.
not enough episodes to cover everything. So I felt like a lot of loose ends were left hanging. So it
So I feel
made
like,
sense to do season two.
sorry, the big question is going to be who comes first. Like, the Mando movie seems like it sort of has to come first,
Right.
but then, how are they going to handle the Mando movie with, Ahsoka and Sabine being still stuck in Pridia? So I hope it gets. Oh, if they held back some. Oh, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I feel like what did they do that with? Where they had footage or voiceover from an existing character that they pulled back. Didn't they do that already in a Star War?
They did that with
I think
Leia.
that's it.
They did a lot of stuff that she had filmed, her talking with Ray. Um,
Maybe
the
that's what I'm
scenes were
thinking
at
of.
the beginning where she's training Ray and she's talking with Ray. That was a lot of like pre-cut stuff from The Last Jedi that they just carried over into Res
Yeah.
Skywalker. Also they did do it with something else, and I can't remember what else.
Yeah, my brain's not making the words right now, but I feel like there was
Help.
another. Yeah, I feel like there was something else, like
Yeah.
another big moment with not the crow.
Not the crow. No, that was what's his face? Chad Stahelski, who it was Keanu Reeves stunt double who actually like filled in for Brendan Lee after he passed and all the body double. There were some things that they just kind of brought in, but yeah.
I don't think I thought
That was
about the
all
crow
Chad.
in like 20 years.
Oh, I love
Like,
that
that's like
movie.
a movie I
It's
like
so
haven't thought
good.
about in like 20 years. Yeah, so good stuff there. So Ahsoka, Mando and Grogu, or the Mandalorian and the Yodito, or whatever we're calling this movie, like
The Yodito.
Mandalorian
The
to
Mandalorian and
Electric
that little
Boogaloo,
guy.
like I don't know. It's just
I want to know
I don't
what's
know.
blowing up behind them. Like, what's going on? Like, now the Mandalorian is notorious for this concept art and
Yeah.
how well they use it in the show, which is awesome, obviously. But I want to know, like, how are they gonna Grogu and the Groguettes? Sure. No, I just want to know how they're gonna tie this in because obviously, Bo-Katan is leading the Mandalorians. Mando's living life in peace outside of Navarro, and Grogu's eating all the froggies. That's where we leave them. Are we getting season 4 before the movie, or is the movie going to be this season 4? Like, we don't know.
This is the kind of stuff that drives me bonkers, and I think it's just because I'm like such an obsessive planner where it's like I don't
Yeah.
necessarily need the story, but I at least need a timeline. Like, can you please just help me with a timeline here?
Yeah.
I've
Listen,
gotten
what's happening?
in my sense about timelines because especially now that I'm bouncing from like canon to EU to canon to EU, like I can finally start to keep track of things in my head. It's taken a whole reading journal to do that, but y'all, these names, these titles are like
Love it.
unhinged. That one only works. Raiders of the Lost Frog Eggs only works if like we get like a Harrison Ford cameo somewhere in there. Like he can be a Mando. I don't care. He's just wearing a bucket. Like I don't care. So long as he gets like a
Grogu, a
little
Star Wars story. Here we go.
little cameo there. Yeah. So
I want to see Grogu get his armor, like full armor, not just the big
the
chest
tiny
thing.
Beskar with his like little ears sticking out. Come on, come on.
Beskar around his ears. So cute.
Oh my god! Like, can you imagine? He just like walks into a wall or something, and like his ear just goes clunk. Like his ears are so wide. He's just gonna walk into something and get pinged. I don't even know. I don't even know. It's
Grogu
unhinged.
Skywalker. No! Oh my god, Spencer, no.
Everyone's a
No.
Skywalker. You're a Skywalker, and you're a
Shut up.
Skywalker, and you're a Skywalker.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the more EU stuff I read, the angrier I get about the sequel trilogy, and I need to just like find a way to let it go and to not be angry about it anymore. But I'm like, why did we get rid of these stories? These are so good. Except, okay, I'm gonna talk really quick about like what I'm excited for in 2024
Absolutely.
because
Go ahead.
going through books at a breakneck speed, which is awesome. For me, given everything going on in my life right now, like it's so nice to have these stories and to like crack through them at such like a good clip. So the two things that I'm the most excited for / hoping for in 2024. One, we are in phase 3 of the High Republic, baby. Like we're back and we're eating good. Okay, so George Mann really said, hold my beer. With that first book that he has released. So he released the first book for phase 3 of the High Republic. It's called The Eye of Darkness. And it sort of it picks back up. I mean, spoiler alert, because I'm sure the other shows are talking about it. And frankly, if you don't know this, it's been out there long enough. So I'm just going to say it. But Starlight Beacon has fallen. Surprise, surprise. Starlight Beacon has fallen, and there's a lot of aftermath and a lot of like cleanup that has to happen between the Jedi and the Nihil. But the Nihil have like an upper hand in all of this, and they literally set up this. I'm not going to spoil the book, but because this is literally on the back jacket of the book, so if you pick up the back jacket of the book, it's there. They have set up this like wall around parts of space called the occlusion zone. So like some of the Jedi are stuck on the other side of the occlusion zone. The other Jedi can't get to them. Like it's bonkers. Like it is absolutely unhinged what some of these characters are going through.
Yeah.
And it sets up phase 3 so well because reading through it, even though like in my heart, I'm like, I want my Jedi to come out on top. Like I want my Jedi to win. There are moments where you're just like, I don't know who's going to come out on top. Is it going to be the Jedi or the bad guys? Like what's going to happen?
I think you need those stakes though, because otherwise it's too safe.
Yes, and the High Republic is not messing around when it comes to stakes. Like if I think I know I've talked about it on other shows where I read in phase 1, when I was reading part of phase 1, it physically affected me. I was so stressed out. I literally got sick from reading a book, not because of like the gore or anything happening in the book, but because the stakes were so high and I was so emotionally invested in some of these characters that I absolutely was like physically ill because I was so stressed. So the Eye of Darkness, absolutely phenomenal. Kicking it off to a really great start. And the comics are also not messing around. We have 3 comic runs so far. So Shadows of Starlight just finished with 4 issues. So the 4th issue just came out last week or the week before.
I will pick those up at my shop.
And then we have the High Republic, which is oh yeah. So okay, so we're coming up to this.
Yay!
So we have the High Republic, and then we have the High Republic Adventures. All 3 are very different stories. We're really excited. And Escape from Valo comes out January 30th. So mine is pre-ordered. We are ready to go. DJ Older and Alyssa Wong. Alyssa Wong is best known for their work in Dr. Aphra. So if you're a
Yes,
Dr. Aphra fan, Alyssa
she
Wong.
Dr. Afra is I think they write Dr. Afra so well. When they took over the arc, it just so good. So
Mhm.
good. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm glad that they have a hand in the next batch of books. I have Darkness on pre-order. Oh, not pre-order, but I have it on order right now. And I'm just waiting for it to come in.
It
Um,
is
I
these
went a
books.
little nuts with my Amazon gift card this
These
year. So
books slap. Like, it is insane to me
yeah.
how good these books are. But this sort of also ties into my second part of my what I'm excited for in 2024. My goal this year is to read the entire EU.
You got this.
Whether or not that happens, because there are like 6,000 books in the EU, we'll see. But I am maybe 100 pages away from finishing the uh, the Jedi Academy books. Um,
Ooh.
I read and absolutely hated The Courtship of Princess Leia.
Mhm.
Can't recommend that one.
Mm-mm.
Which is probably not fair. I'm sure a lot of people love it, but that wasn't
Ugh,
really needed to be written by a woman.
yeah.
Um,
It just
and
made the whole storyline. I'm sorry, this is just my opinion, but it made it feel cheap. Does
it
that make sense?
yes,
Yeah.
it was a complete character assassination of Han Solo.
Yeah. I just felt icky
uh,
after reading it, and I was just like, okay.
Yeah, icky feeling icky is a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
It was one of those books where I finished the first 2 books of the Jedi Academy, and there were a couple characters that they kept mentioning from Dathomir, and I was like, "All right, I know that these characters come into play in The Courtship of Princess Leia, so I'm gonna read that one really quick first before I finish the Jedi Academy books." Oh, it was awful. Like, it was not for me. I shouldn't say awful because I'm sure people really enjoyed it. It was not for me. Um
I feel like those who read it earlier and not in the 21st century liked it. But
I
however,
I just feel so part of it I would agree with. So part of it is like we're so used to the representation of Dathomir and the Night Sisters that we got from the Clone Wars,
absolutely.
and this is not that. So
No.
they're not the same.
No.
But I feel like even if I was reading the books, and I don't remember what year that one was published, but I know it was in the 90s.
Yeah,
Um,
I wanna say, like, 96, but I'll double check it.
so I know it came out in the 90s, but I feel like even if I was reading it in the 90s, it is such a departure from everything that Han Solo as a character, like, is. It just didn't like, kidnapping Leia?
Oh, sorry, 94, it came out.
It's not for me.
Mm.
So I'm glad I read it, and I guess my next step would be to compare and contrast that one to,
I do
Princess and the
really
Scoundrel,
since I
which is a
love
canon book.
Drew Struzan so much, I do love that art on the cover. Like,
Yeah, the republished Del Rey covers have a lot to be desired
it's just
because
basic, vector art, and I
it is. It's like stock vector art, like, it's not great. I've been borrowing from a friend, all of their books from the 90s and everything, which, is great because I agree, the art on the covers are way nicer,
yeah.
than these republished Del Rey ones, but the upside of this republished Del Rey stuff is that, and is it Del Rey? I think it's Del Rey that's republishing them, right?
Mhm.
Um they use a much better font, and the font is much bigger, so it doesn't hurt my eyes quite as much as trying to read these old, like, little pocket size,
I'm
books
not
from the
12 anymore, man. I don't have
yeah.
great eyesight.
Listen,
No,
these
who
are
am I
very
kidding?
serious glasses. I can't see
I've had
shit
very
without them.
yeah, I've had very shitty eyesight since I was 9, so it's not for me, but yeah.
Yeah, that's that's the only thing I think that's gonna, like, slow down my goal of reading all these EU books is, like, I read a couple chapters and I'm like, "Alright, I gotta put this away for a few minutes." Like, it's hurting my face. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Get
we'll
a
see how those
headlamp.
go. The headlamp won't even help. Are you kidding me? It's like I literally hold the page like up to my face. Like I'm
Sheesh.
blind. It's really it's terrible. Getting old sucks.
But I'm
Um,
excited. It's gonna be a good year for the High Republic, and
ugh,
I feel like a lot more people are jumping on board too. Like it just
I
kind of
know. And
it's
it's
becoming more
so
mainstream.
validating. It's so validating. I'm like, listen, friends, read these books. Like,
I've
do
been
it for
shouting
this
this
guy.
for months. What the hell?
Do it for him. Do it for Elzar Mann. And don't ask why I have a framed picture of Elzar Mann at convenient reach. That was a really weird thing to pull out, but I guess I had it.
No, he's next to the Stellan Geos lightsaber. It's fine.
I mean, he is my fictional husband.
That is
So
so cute. So cute.
it was supposed to go up on the wall, and then I ran out of space on these walls. So he and Stellan are gonna have to go on another wall. But I digress. Do it for Elzar. Do it for
Now,
Avar.
do you feel like as far as like taking from the High Republic, and obviously this is their big publishing focus right now, do you feel like they will use it in mainstream media? They'll use it in like television or in film?
So yes, and is my answer. So I last year joined Cavan Scott's newsletter, which is great. It was a paid subscription. He's discontinued it now because he has a lot of other commitments and he can't commit to the newsletter so much anymore. But I have been doing a paid subscription with him, and one of the cool things that came of that paid subscription is that he would do like invitation only Zoom calls. So like if you paid,
Wow.
you got to be part of these Zoom calls with him and usually another guest author. And and they weren't always Star Wars. Some of them were other comics publishers or comics writers or artists or
That's
other
cool.
people from the industry. It was very cool. And he's a super nice guy. Like he is just like the most approachable, friendly, lovely human being. Very easy to talk to. Really, really cool guy. The last one that he did was with Michael Siglane, who is the head of Lucasfilm Publishing.
Yeah.
So we got to talk to him for a little over an hour. And one of the questions that I asked, because I thought the same thing, was, you oversee publishing, which is great, but now that we have seen the introduction of these characters from these books, like we're not even deviating away from them. Like Starlight Beacon and Estella Maru and these other characters have shown up now in Young Jedi Adventures, and we know that we're getting Vernestra Rowe, who is directly from the books, in the Acolyte. So
Which I bet you're excited for.
I'm unhinged, like absolutely losing my mind.
Yes. Okay.
But my question is, how much say, or how much advance notice does publishing get when these characters show up in TV shows or movies? And he's like, well, it's collaborative across the board. So it's not necessarily like a blindsided thing. And Cavan Scott wrote the episode with Loden Greatstorm and
Oh, that's
Belle
cool.
and Ember. So he knew, obviously, like he had written the characters in the books and now he got to write the characters in the TV shows. So like there is a lot of collaborative work with that. Do I think the story from the High Republic, the 3 phases of the High Republic, will end up making their way to TV or film? I don't know. One of the best things they could have done with this publishing initiative was introduce so many new characters to the point where it's actually overwhelming sometimes. You're like, my God, there are so many new Jedi, like just so many.
It's like Game of Thrones all of a sudden.
Yeah. But the beauty
Who
of that
are
is
you
that the books can only really follow so many of those Jedi, which I think was really smart, because that means that some of these other Jedi could be introduced or reintroduced to audiences in a TV show or a
Oh,
film.
yeah, that's smart.
I don't know if that's just my thought on the matter. I don't know if that's the way it's going to go or anything. I would
Yeah.
love to see more, but I also, if we never saw anything more than what we're getting, let me rephrase that. I think we will get visual media for the High Republic. I don't know that it will be this story from the High Republic, and if it's not that story, I'm totally okay with that, because the
Yeah.
way that these characters have been handled and the arcs that they have been given have been so fulfilling and so beautiful. Like, look at them. They are all stunning. Every one of them.
Beauty ass.
Every one of them. Just gorgeous character design, gorgeous characters, beautifully written. Just, oh God, it really is so special. And
Sorry.
yeah, I
writing.
think
Blind.
I think the hook might actually just be Yoda, right? Because like everybody knows Yoda and everyone's like, oh, Yoda's in the High Republic. But like so is Maz Kanata and other characters. My boy Therm Scissor Punch, who's my favorite. I can't even say his name without laughing.
Are you kidding? That's amazing.
Therm Scissor Punch and Dax from Jetstar are absolutely in the High Republic.
Yeah. Okay,
Do with that
so
what you
I
will.
saw your Instagram. For those who don't know, Jamie is on top of all things going on in Disney parks, and they have introduced a new rock-inspired dessert at
Hell
was it
yeah, they have.
Rocky Bay, and she was absolutely flabbergasted as to why they didn't make it a tribute to our buddy Geode. Like it's such a waste. Like I was sitting there going, "What?" So they'll do that, but they won't make it named after Geode. Like
Say his name. Give him his name.
give him his due. Yeah,
His
our beloved rock boy.
it's so funny because like people that know nothing about the High Republic somehow know about Geode. Like I think he must have been a meme or something. Like my guess is that it was like I can't believe Star Wars just introduced a character who's literally a rock. Because he is literally a rock. But then, when you read the new when you read like any of there's not even dialogue. Like there's no dialogue for Geode, but when you read any of the interactions he has with other characters, you're just like, this is absolutely unhinged, and they make it work, and it's so good. But this is
Thank
also
you.
the
Yeah.
franchise.
Rockbiter from Neverending Story. I loved Rocky. It was
I love it.
missed
And
opportunity. Disney parks missed opportunity.
it's stunning. It's so great. And every time I think that like this franchise and this part of the franchise is done surprising me, I turn the page and I'm like, Therm Scissor Punch, or I can't believe they gave Dax Jetstar a actual backstory from the High Republic. And somehow Maskanata is not wasted in the High Republic like she was in the sequel trilogy.
Oh, I know.
I can't.
It's just,
I
mean,
so
so she's owned the bar, her little watering hole, for 1,000 years, at least 1,000 years. So she's been around a lot, and I like that they have managed to pull her into that as well. And as you said, not make her a plot device just to kind of help the main characters along. They kind of give her own little due. So
yeah, it's great. And it's what I especially love about it is, again, when you're trying to get that hook with the younger audiences and the younger crew, is that she appears in the High Republic Adventures, which is the kids entry point in the comics for the High Republic. So yeah, I mean she's great.
She's seen those ads before. Yeah.
I was on Star Tours the other day and I had an all sequel trilogy flight, and she was my my intermission moment. She was looking for yeah, I don't know. The only good news about the sequel trilogy flights on oh my god, let's try that.
That's something else that's happening in 2024. So
yeah, we're getting new flights on Star Tours. Yeah. We're getting Ahsoka inspired. My guess is we're gonna go to like Peridia.
That's gonna be a long freaking flight.
That's gonna be a long flight. Purgles are gonna appear. I don't even know. But the best thing about the sequel trilogy flights, which is what I was saying, is that if you get the right configuration, the ghost actually appears at the very beginning.
Yay! I'm so excited.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. And I was like, that's a VCX 100. And I was like, I think that's the ghost.
That's the VCX 100.
Yeah, it happens real quick. You have to like really like blink the kind of moment.
Yeah, that's like the ghost throughout the sequel trilogy / everything else / Rogue One.
Riding a Purgle sounds terrible, honestly. Like
like
the space whales,
ride in a Purgle. So you
no,
in the mouth and just spits you out.
Absolutely not. That's disgusting. Everything about that was like
Geppetto.
It was a little too monstro for me, but Disney owns Star Wars now, so
yeah.
Meeting the space whales I could be okay with. Getting to see our little buddy Lothcat, that could be great.
Yeah.
Could be into that.
So we have a little like Rebels Daughters group chat, and I believe it was Jeff. I'm pretty sure it was Jeff. He posted the fact that they have a 3 Lothcat Moon t-shirt available in our universe.
Absolutely.
And I've never needed one more. Like, thank you, 3 Merly Moon. It's happening.
See, here's the thing, though.
It's gonna go with my 3 Porg Moon that Chris Travis drew, and I have on t-shirt.
I saw that, and I just need to stop right here and make it very clear that her universe, if any of y'all are watching, or if any of y'all watch us on YouTube, or if any of y'all follow me on Instagram or Facebook, whatever, this was a missed opportunity to not do 3 Lothwolves.
Just saying.
I mean, Dwight Schrute made it cool in The Office. That's the second Office reference I've made in this show.
Yes.
And we all know that Dave has a thing for wolves. So, like, why did we make it Merle instead of making it like Lothwolves?
Yeah.
I just see it as a missed opportunity, but that's just
I
me.
mean, yeah, we'll just have to make them ourselves.
We're gonna get sued.
We're so
We're gonna get sued.
No,
Those two public
okay.
people, they got lawyers everywhere.
Yeah. So you did not see that. Did not say that. Okay. No, I just feel like there's been so much going on, and for those who have been picking it, oh my god, there he is. Okay.
Take that down immediately.
I love that.
Too much.
It's beautiful.
Too much. It's the derp face for me. You know what we didn't even talk about? Like, I can't believe that we have 3 minutes left in this show and we didn't even talk about the fact that, like, there's all this movement on the Rey movie.
Yes.
Like, we didn't even talk about her. There she is, Queen Daisy Ridley.
Yes.
She's like ready to go.
Spencer, they don't need to go to glamour shots. They are glamour.
They are the glamour.
But yeah, so the Rey movie. So I lost my damn mind when Daisy Ridley came out on stage at Celebration, and my phone was blowing up. It was first thing in the morning. The fact that we're gonna have Rey rebuilding the Jedi Order is fantastic. I feel like she'll be able to do this on her own, and the fact that they're putting it so far ahead of where they were, and it's not like an immediate sequel. Like, time has passed and there's some growth, and I really do you feel like it's going to be a missed opportunity if they don't have Finn in there?
Yes, and is the thing. So
Okay.
I don't know that John Boyega is gonna come back. I think there'd have to be, which breaks my heart, right? Because
Yeah.
I completely understand and validate and agree with his reasons for not wanting to come back.
Absolutely.
But I also will tell you,
Yeah,
I
Lonnie.
feel like the biggest fumble in that sequel trilogy for me personally was not making him the Force sensitive one. And listen, I love the fact that we got Rey out of it, right? Like, I did not care for the sequel trilogy, but I loved the potential of Rey. I also loved the potential of Finn.
Yes.
And I just feel like his story especially was just so poorly handled. Can
It
I say
was
that? I'm gonna say it.
so stereotypical.
And
And
what could be more fascinating than having a former stormtrooper turn Jedi, or, you know, a Force sensitive stormtrooper who ends up embracing his Jedi? Like,
it writes itself. Like, it's magical. Yes.
I could be like the
Thank
monkey,
you, David.
like,
thank you.
lock me in a room like those monkeys and I'll write Shakespeare. But like, yes, Finn just
Or
really
woo all the time. Like, he was
not
so
great.
much more than that, and I really felt like
he needed more and
he
deserved
needed more.
more.
And that's why I was kind of hoping that he would be a part of it, so they can have a chance to focus on the Star Wars people that mattered. Like, I love Poe Dameron. I absolutely love Poe Dameron. I love Oscar Isaac. I also felt they did him dirty too.
Yeah.
It took a way of yes, thank you.
Star Wars Christmas special. Like, literally the
Yeah.
funniest friggin' Lego Star Wars thing there is.
I had
laughed
tears
every
in
time.
my eyes. Yeah. Thank you. So, I'm not your buddy guy. I'm not your guy, friend. I'm not your friend, buddy. Okay, I could do that all day. But anyway, I wanted this to be something that gave them both a chance to shine, because they were the two strongest parts of the sequel trilogy to me. Like, I felt like Poe got enough of his redemption arc in The Last Jedi. He came full circle there. He wasn't just a hotshot pilot anymore. He understood and learned how to lead, but also how to let other people take over and work together on things. So I felt like Poe's story was all set there. Like, he didn't have to be a spice runner. He didn't need to have his shady gang past, which is so dumb.
That I honestly, like, that's like a big black hole in my memory. Honestly, thinking about that movie, I'm like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of forget that it
Ugh.
happens. I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing that definitely
Like,
happened in that
don't
movie.
so yeah, there was a lot of stereotyping in that movie, and it made me feel, it made it feel dirty, because these were characters I loved that had a lot of potential, and they were just reduced to their basic forms in this.
I yeah, I mean, that my sequel trilogy airing of grievances is like a whole.
A mile
Maybe that'll
long.
be the next show. Like, this is like things we're excited for in 2024. It'll be like the next episode will just be like things that piss Jamie off in the sequel trilogy. It's gonna be
Yeah.
3 hours of me talking about all these movies. Anyway, so I don't know is the thing, and I will tell you now that I have read through, and I keep coming back to the EU just because I am furious that so many of these stories were literally just cast aside, because honestly these stories were so much more coherent and like unhinged, but in the best Star Wars way than what we ended up getting.
Yeah.
I, reading the Jedi Academy books and seeing like Luke basically going out and doing what it sounds like Rey is going to go out and do and rebuild the Jedi Order by finding these Jedi or these Force sensitive people one by one. Um, Now that I have this really strong story that I really enjoyed in the Jedi Academy books, I am going to be a lot more critical of what happens plot wise in this Rey movie.
Absolutely.
I'm
But
psyched. Don't get me wrong. Like, I would love to see Rey get more than what she got.
yeah, definitely.
But big shoes
And,
to fill because I've read this story before.
and having Charmine, so it's, I'm trying to get her name right. Charmine Obaid Chinoy is going to
Mhm,
be the director of it. They don't have a script finished yet, but they have
mhm,
the basic story plot, and Daisy Ridley said it hooked her immediately. So that gives me hope,
mhm.
because I don't think, given everything that's happened, I don't think she would have come back if it was anything less.
No, and I think um having a female director, I think, is obviously very important. I think that no matter what happens, right? This could be a blockbuster. This could be the most incredible story that we get. This could be the best writing, the best acting, the best this, the best that. There's always going to be, and that's part of why we have a show, right? There's always going to be a sect of Star Wars fans that are going to be aggressively and vehemently against it. And no matter how good the story is or how great the movie is, we just sort of, I hate to sound so jaded and so bitter about it, but man, the minute they announced that Rey movie, I was like, I can't go on the internet for the next like 48 hours. Like I can't read any social media for the next
Let all
48
the
hours.
trolls get it out of their system,
Yep,
and
get it
then,
out.
and I feel like once
Mhm.
Charmine talked about it, um, she was able to kind of give like a fresh perspective on not only that, but having like a female director and we've seen this with Deborah Chow, having a female director allows the female characters to kind of be portrayed a little more smartly. Like, it's just not,
It's authentic.
it's
You get
authentic.
the
It's the
authenticity. Yep.
female gaze is the female gaze.
Mhm.
And I'm really excited, and the fact that Daisy says it's not what she expected, and she's really um, into it, it gives me hope. Now, will
Yeah.
Rey be training Grogu? That's the question.
But see,
Kidding.
this also harkens to the ever going and ongoing issue with Star Wars is, my God, where are we in the timeline?
Yeah, exactly. So I
Because
guess
we don't
what they
know how
said
far
was
ahead the
it's going to
timeline.
be 15 years after the Rise of Skywalker. So that's what they're aiming for.
15 years after the rise of Skywalker, which means that like Jason Syndulla will be older than Rey, right? By like a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. It's
Yes.
weird, but I have to use the Rebels characters as like
I
my guide
know.
pointer to like how old everybody is. I think just
It's
because
like,
I'm
okay,
like the most,
where are we in BBY on this? And yeah,
because Jason and Poe, if I'm not mistaken, are the same age, or
Mhm.
they're like right in the same like year or so around each other. So
Yeah, they're about a year or so apart.
so
Grogu's
Jason,
not old enough, okay,
Grogu's not
Spencer?
old enough.
He's a
He's
50-year-old
probably
baby.
he's a 50-year-old baby, so he's gonna be like a 75-year-old like adolescent.
He's gonna be a 75-year-old toddler, okay?
He's just learning how to walk. He's just
Yeah.
yeah, it's great
He's just
stuff.
learning how to
Mando
get those
just took
nuggies.
the crib rails off of his bed. Now he
Yeah.
can sleep in a
Yeah, exactly, John. Jason could be an established Jedi. So who knows? It's exciting, and I really am looking forward to this. I feel like there's a lot of younglings maybe that could be involved, or like children of uh
Well, you got to think these
survivors.
force sensitive kids are out here somewhere, right? And if the Jedi Order hasn't been out there collecting them, it's not like these kids stopped being born force sensitive after
Room boy.
Order 66. They're just,
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
know, in hiding, and they aren't necessarily aware of like what they can and can't do. Yeah, get that broom kid back.
Yeah.
What's he doing these days?
Cleaning out
Can't
them
be working
state
that hard.
room boy becomes room man. No.
Listen, what a redemption, not even a redemption, but like what a career that would be. Yeah, I was that
Yeah.
broom kid at one time, and here I am, the new hero of Star Wars.
Well, if you think about it, the kid that was like, Master Skywalker, what are we gonna do? He's making a killing at cons because he got like slain by Anakin Skywalker before he became Darth
I
Vader. Like,
have never considered that he would be at conventions.
yeah.
Do they put him next to Hayden? Can they put him next to Hayden?
Can you imagine? Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, from all accounts, he's a wonderful young man. People have loved meeting him.
I
I
wanna
think he
meet
does
him.
mostly cons in the UK. I don't know if he's done any
Damn.
here in the US. But I've seen signatures where he writes, Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? There's too many of them. What are you going to do? Yeah, Spencer says he's in London. He was at a Celebration London. So
Listen,
you
I don't
never
go for
know.
these
People
autographs.
might
You
be
know
playing
how
up
I am about
too.
celebrities. I don't care about celebrities, and I don't care about autographs, but like I have a new goal. I wanna meet this
Ooh.
kid. And he's probably he's not a kid anymore, but like I wanna meet this guy.
Probably in his 30s now. But
Is he single? That's
oh, David
inappropriate.
says he has a website, so we'll have to Google him.
Yes. Let's go.
Spencer, what's his name? Both of us are too lazy to use the internet right now.
I mean, my phone's literally sitting right here. I can just I got this like fancy new Star Wars case and everything. Like
Oh, bougie.
what do I even call him? Like slain Jedi kid?
Padawan that Anakin killed. Oh my god, I can't believe we're looking this up.
Okay, so the funny thing is
Ross,
that
Ross Speedman. Okay.
okay, you're friends with him on Facebook. Of course you are. That checks out. I love that.
Totally.
So the
checks
funny
out.
thing is, if you Google search slain Jedi Padawan actor, the first name that comes up is Hayden Christensen. Not quite what I was looking for, Google, but
Yeah.
thanks.
Close enough.
I
Did they
wow,
slid him next to Hayden at Celebration? That's a question.
I don't know, but like what a missed opportunity if they didn't put him like side by side with Hayden Christensen, like put their tables like right next to each other. Oh my god, I would lose my whole freaking mind.
Yeah.
Hang
That's
on, I'm
insane.
literally Googling him right now because I need to know. This is
So-
incredible.
It's exciting. I mean, this year there's so much good going on.
He was born in 1998. Consider. Sorry.
Dude, I was 15. I feel so fucking old. Sorry. I always have like an existential crisis. Like he's a year older than my niece, who's
Oh, he's cute.
20. Yeah. Youngling
he's cute.
Slayer 3. Oh my god, no. Can you imagine?
Yeah. It's so funny. Like, there's a picture of his autograph, and it says exactly like what you said, Master Skywalker. There's too many of them. What are we gonna do?
That would
Wow.
break. He's too young for you, bro. No.
Okay. Well, now that I know that I have a new goal, and again, I don't do conventions, so like I'm gonna have to just keep an eye out for that one. But yeah, that literally I'll clear off shelf space here. I'll just plop that photo right in the middle. It's gonna be
Where he's
great.
just like, he looks so
Yeah,
scared.
100%. Traumatize the children. Let's do it. Let's party. My kids got to learn somehow. So
To be
like, here we go.
Mom, why do you have this? Like, you just hold it up. Like, this
It's
the
fine.
guy that Anakin Skywalker killed. Yes.
It's fine.
It's totally
She's
fine.
got to learn somehow. What better way than to see the youngling slayed? Anyway,
Slayer
wow.
3000. Oh my god. I'm
What a
dead.
great photo op that would be.
All right.
Honestly.
Yeah.
I-
So it's
I'm reeling from this. I did not know he was doing convention appearances. This is
it's so
insane.
Yeah, I thought you would have known, but it's okay.
No, I don't keep up.
Oh
with
my
this stuff.
god, Spencer just sent me. Spencer, this is so messed up.
Incredible. Flawless. No
Little
notes.
face, that's my
Absolutely.
little dude jumped a mile when that lightsaber was activated. He was just like,
Absolutely.
ugh.
So good. I mean, not good, but like this is what I love about Star Wars is that we can like make all these unhinged, twisted jokes about children literally getting slain by their master, and like we're like, yeah, I want to meet that guy. I want to see that guy. Let's talk. Bonkers. Bonkers. Well, my God, now that we all have these new goals for oh my God. Oh, it's happening.
Dave, you're a genius. I love it. She's speechless. She's speechless.
I feel so seen right now. Dave, put that on the website. I'm buying it right now. I'm doing it.
Let's meet Kitster.
Let's go.
I don't think Kitster does cons. Like, have you ever known him to do cons? I don't know. If I'm wrong, let me know.
Well, we've officially gone 15 minutes over our showtime because we got excited about the younglings being slayed and t-shirts being made and
younglings slayed, t-shirts made.
This has gotten so twisted.
I know. Dark. Oh my God, I have tears in my eyes. This is so funny.
Meanwhile, my kid is like sleeping the next room over, and I'm just like, yeah, kill them kids. It's fine.
We're gonna get flagged on YouTube. This is terrible.
Oh my God, listen. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Oh, YouTube's gonna take this video down.
And that's a t-shirt. Okay.
Oh, YouTube's gonna take this video down.
You're welcome. We write our own products. It's totally fine.
Yeah. Listen,
okay, I'm fine.
For Universe, I am available for merchandise consultations.
Okay.
Lucasfilm, I have taglines like crazy for you.
Taglines for days.
Taglines for days.
Yeah.
Oh, good. We rate these shows not for children. That's the Imperial Sweatshop. Woof. Woof. Oh, okay. Wow. On that note, I feel like this is a great opportunity to plug that the Virtual Cantina Network has t-shirts available on TeePublic. They are available right now for sale. There will be more this week. So there you go. See, like we were ready to go with that.
Yes.
There's our Daughters of the Galaxy collection, and I'm psyched because we're gonna have one more up there real soon because I say all sorts of stupid shit on this show, and it's great. We love it. What else we got to talk about? So the Virtual Cantina Family Vacation. Y'all are going to California this year?
Second bus is open. Make sure you get your tickets
2024 already.
Yeah, it's this summer.
Yeah, so if you want to do that, that's a thing that's happening. Unfortunately, I will not be in attendance, but I will be sitting in my house FOMOing.
Yeah, we'll be living vicariously through all y'all. So
it's true.
Make sure you post pictures. But yeah, second bus is open. First bus is sold out. So make sure you get your tickets as soon as possible. Because that's it. We got amazing people like Chris Bartlett, Don Deininger, let's see, Leilani Shu, Misty Rosas. They're all going to be at the Scum and Villainy Cantina. So it's your opportunity to meet them, hang out with everybody, take a ride up the coast.
Go to Disneyland.
Go to Disneyland.
The Geo dessert that I can't have. Do it for me. Do it for me.
Jamie. Take pictures of that Geo dessert. Oh, Jamie, your crush will be there.
Oh, come on. No. I just got surprised by a bumper, and now you do this.
Yeah,
so
Katie.
Nice things.
Yeah,
so I can't have nice things.
It's exciting.
All right. Also on the network this week, y'all are watching Ahsoka. Part 2 tomorrow?
Episode 2 tomorrow night.
And Chris Bartlett will be around, so you can watch with Chris Bartlett.
Yes, Chris is a gem, so I am looking forward to that. I will be in the chat with you guys, watching along and nerding out because
the Unified Force will be talking about something. We don't know what, but they'll be talking about something. And hopefully they'll know what by the time that their show airs, because I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah. But it's always good to have Kat and Gio and Dave. So
yeah, right? Not a bad crew. I'm sure it'll be fun. I just don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, so with that being said, thanks for joining us tonight. Sorry it took so long for us to come back, but we're back now.
We missed you.
We did. we truly did. The holidays were just crazy. Right. So you know where to find us on socials. If you have ideas for shows, want to talk about merch, want to buy our merch, want to talk about Star Wars, or listen to me scream about the High Republic, you know where to find both of us.
Yeah, make
I
sure
don't know
you
that
like
Ashley will stream
and
about the High Republic with you, but she will.
make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribers. You know, we don't always go live properly in Facebook, so a best way to watch our shows is actually on our YouTube channel, Virtual Cantina Network. So make sure you're following us there at Virtual Cantina Network, on Instagram at virtual.cantina network, on Twitter, I will always be Twitter, at Cantina Virtual, and on Threads at virtual.cantina network, on Hive Virtual Cantina, and on TikTok at
I don't know
Virtual
what half these
Cantina.
are.
Like I said, like the VCN Star Wars Celebration Japan 2025 Facebook group. It's always fun, and we have our weekly things. We keep up to date on that. Make sure you stay on top of our family vacation if you're interested in going. Like I said, second bus is open, so get your tickets as soon as possible because there's not many left.
And that's all she wrote, ladies and
That's it!
gentlemen.
Thank you so much for joining
Thanks
us
for joining
and
us.
nerding out with us about all the Star Wars goodness to come this year and what's starting to come for next year. We love you guys, and we will
Yes.
see you in 2 weeks.
May the force be with you.
Bye, guys. Ah!
Obsessed.
I'm obsessed with that. That is so cool.